I get a question a lot. People who have the stove for the first time or they're new to the stove, they want me to tell them about it. They don't really know much about it, but they like the way it looks and they love the stove. So I'm going to give you the rundown today. So starting with the top, we have the salt and pepper shaker. They're real cute. Some are porcelain. These ones are plastic. Haven't seen anyone ever use them, but everybody loves them. Then you have your clock. And on this side you have a clock, and on this side you have a cooking chart. Some models had a clock on both sides, one was a timer. And then you have your light. Now the clock here, once upon a time, they generally don't work. You know, 1 out of 10 clocks actually work. It's been my experience, generally they don't work. But once upon a time they operated the oven, where it would turn the oven on or off. So someone might set it to turn on at 12 or turn off at 1. And so that's what that did back then, kind of cool feature. This has the vanishing shelf with the rods that hold up the shelf, which I like. I like the look. The later models did not have the rods. They did away with the rods, but I like that. Then you have your 4-burner and a griddle on this model. Some models are 6-burner. I like the griddle better because the griddle, not only can you use it for a griddle, but you can also put a pot on that, cook on that also. This here, like I get a lot of questions about this. Hey, what is this thing? That's the simmer plate, and what you could do there is when you could put your simmer burner on, or put your flame on low if you like, or you can put it on high. And what it does is it spreads the heat out across the pan. So when you're cooking sauces or those kinds of things where you want the heat to be more spread out, that's what that does for you. And I've seen some where they have an accessory where you can buy those. You could just buy the simmer plate and put it on top of this style of grate. Okay, now when you light the griddle, first thing you want to do is when you turn it on is listen. Listen to hear if you hear the flame light. So you want to make sure you hear that flame light. And then the second thing you want to do is look down in here. This griddle has an opening area here where you can grab it and take it off with your hands. And you want to look down in there and see the flame, see that it's lit, see the reflections of the flame. And some models, there's also a metal plate that's chrome, and if you polish it, it will reflect to see the flame like a mirror. Then next thing you have is your oven. Now these nice old stoves have a Robert Shaw thermostat, which are very good thermostats. They have a flame that goes from full on and then it kicks down to about a 1/4 inch to maintain the temperature. Where a lot of new stoves today, they have a switch, it's on or off. Unless you go in the higher end stuff to get where it's a valve versus a switch for a thermostat. And down below here you have 2 racks. The racks will pull out and they'll catch, and it won't pull out any further. They have an area that goes up, and what that does is catch, so that when you pull it out, it doesn't just fall over on the ground. I've seen some customers will have a rack like that, and I guess maybe they think it's easier to grab that way, but that's a no-no because if you pull on it, get your stuff, you know, there it goes. So to put it in, you'll lift up slightly, get past the first hump, and then push it in. Then at the bottom of your oven, you have a drip tray, and what that does is it catches all the toppings, all the spillovers and things like that that fall in here. And so some people have that with aluminum foil, they'll put that on top of that. And then this here, you also have a baking chart. And have things on like for breads, and I have biscuits, muffins, cornbreads, temperature and time. Now I always wonder, what are the ingredients? I guess back then people knew the ingredients, so they'd go, oh, okay, I can put it together. But that's what that is. And then below that you have an access to your burner. If the pilot ever goes out, you could go in there and light the pilot. It's not to be used for cooking. Then over here you have the boiler, and this is called the grill-elevator. And the grill better has an adjustment where it adjusts up and down. And then it has a broiler pan. And some people put tinfoil on top of that. And then below the broiler pan is a tray where it catches the fats and the grease and so forth that come from the food you cook. And that goes inside there. Basically an upside down barbecue. You could also call it like a salamander. You can do cheese toast, steaks, fish, whatever you like. And then there's a big flame on top, and then it radiates the heat down. And so it cooks from the top downwards. And so like if I'm going to do some salmon, I'll do like 3 minutes on one side and 4 on the other. And I'll put it at about, on this particular one, I'll do over 3. And then I'll do the flame about 50%. And it comes out perfect each time you use it. Now you got to experiment with it a few times. You have to go and try it a couple of times to get a feel for it. But once you do, it cooks fantastic. And then below that is a storage drawer. And the storage drawer, you just put pots and pans and things like that in there. I wouldn't put plastic in there, but you could do metal pans and things like that. And definitely nothing flammable. One last thing before I forget is you have drip trays here for the burner, and they slide out. And so when you have things that drop from cooking or spillovers, it goes inside here. You take that out, go over to the sink, rinse it off, go to the trash can, dump it out if you like. And that goes in there. And then on the griddle one, you have one also, it's a smaller one, and it catches the grease and the fats. If you're cooking like hamburgers or bacon on there, the grease will go inside there. Turn it off, and thank you.